Well, just to conclude here, if there are some folks watching this and wondering how in the world they could ever get small groups started, because they're seeing this and they're getting excited about discipling and mentoring and really getting people connected in biblical community, what would you say? What are some first steps that they could do in order to get the senior pastor, the whole church, to buy into this idea of small groups and kind of get them launched?
Well, you've got to kind of divorce yourself from the desire to do things programmatically.
Mhm.
In other words, round up everybody who's interested in leading a group, maybe have a sample group with them for 2 or 3 months, and then say, I have 10 couples who came to this group, so I can start 10 groups. Okay,
Mhm.
that's a programmatic mentality.
Yeah.
The best way to do it is to go about it organically, which is start preaching and teaching about the values that make small group life work and small group ministry work in your church. Spending time with people between meetings, offering refrigerator rights to them and giving them refrigerator rights in your home, a la Randy Frazee, right? Who wrote about this in Making Room for Life, and Bill and
Will Miller.
doctors who wrote, yeah, who wrote Refrigerator
Yeah.
Rights. That's a great book. A little difficult to get through for the average guy like me. So I just skimmed that book and then I read Randy's stuff and it made sense, right? But it's basically not just offering rights. It's actually making sure people open up your fridge and you open up their fridge.
Yeah.
When that happens, that's huge. America just doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
We might do it with 1 or 2 people we know really well, but we don't do it with the other people in our group. You can't do it with everybody in your group, but you can do it with some people.
Yeah.
Taking that to the next level, offering refrigerator rights and taking refrigerator rights with unchurched people. Another huge value that most American Christians don't have. They have non-Christian friends or unchurched friends, but if you ask those unchristian, non-churched friends, would you consider this person a close friend of yours? No, they're an acquaintance. So that'd be another value that they could start teaching people. How much time do you spend with unchurched people, loving them and allowing them to serve you humbly?
Mhm.
That would be another thing that's huge.
Yeah.
So, and there's actually a lot more things, but evangelism, taking personal responsibility for your spiritual walk, um, being a Christ-centered family instead of a child-centered family.
Mhm.
All these things, talking about these things. A lot of churches are already doing this, but the pastor needs to be talking about his personal experiences with this and how he started a small group and the small group's actually letting him do these things and make these changes
Yeah.
and find it, and that'll create a value for it. And then start a couple of pilot groups, 1 or 2 pilot groups, and let some people from the existing group go out as a team, and with 2 or 3 really anxious people from the congregation that want to start that group, and let them reach some friends for Christ. Say the group is closed to the campus but open to the world.
Yeah.
And say, so this is we're not allowed to flood this group with interested people until they've reached some people for Christ. And for every new Christian they bring into the group from the unchurched world, they can bring in a family from the church, or whatever ratio works for the church, and grow the groups that way. There's a number of tools that are really good for this. Scott Boren has written a book called How Do We Get There From Here?
Mhm.
A guidebook for implementing holistic small groups. How do we get there from here? And I'm a big fan of Scott Boren. His books on missional life, a little hard to get your head around, but they're very good. And that practical book, stage process for implementing groups, that I really like. And as long as you don't go to the next step before you got this one really nailed down, and you'll do well. So there's a lot of resources that you can get. I've got a resource list in my book, and if pastors are chomping at the bit and they don't have the money to do it because of our hard economic times, just go to randallneighbour.com and read the historical articles there. Some guy told me he felt like he'd already read my book by going to my blog and reading all the historical stuff.
Mhm.
I don't agree, of course, but he
Yeah.
did. But that'd be a great place to start, because there's some articles and I really dive deep into what I've talked about in this little video interview there.
Mm. Cool.
So
Well, Randall, thanks so much for sitting down and kind of explaining a little more about your book. I really hope that more and more people will read this because I think it'll change the way that you think about small groups and the way that you think about discipleship and really connecting people in biblical community. So, Randall, really appreciate your time and thanks for the work you're doing for small groups.